They assumed Earth's air was safe, until their warsuits began corroding the moment they breathed it in. Beginning, the Kryval Dominion was certain. Earth would fall within a week. For centuries, their war fleets had swept across star systems, conquering worlds with precision and cold efficiency. They had defeated plasma-wielding reptilians, energy-based life forms, and even the towering titans of Yisga, whose bodies could crush tanks with a single footstep. To the Kryval, humans were nothing more than an evolutionary joke, primitive bipeds clinging to a planet of oxygen, nitrogen, and water. Oxygen, in their arrogant calculations, was harmless. Admiral Zirith Kor stood at the viewport of his flagship, the Tyrannes, as the blue marble of Earth filled the glass. "Observe," he told his officers, his voice metallic beneath his armored helm. "This backwater world does not possess planetary shields, fusion artillery, or orbital cannons. It is undefended." "Shall we begin the ground incursion?" one officer asked. "Deploy the war suits," Zirith ordered. "Show these humans what it means to face the Dominion." Across the fleet, dropships detached like silver fangs, plunging into the atmosphere. Each vessel carried soldiers clad in living exo-armor, a blend of nanometal and organic plating, impervious to acid, radiation, and weaponry across 100 worlds. On every planet before Earth, their arrival had been followed by swift, merciless domination. But Earth was different. The moment the dropships breached the lower atmosphere, subtle alarms began chiming. Armor plating registered minor molecular inconsistencies. Nothing serious, at first. By the time the dropships landed outside major human cities, the warnings had escalated into flashing red alerts. The Kryval soldiers ignored them. They marched from their ships, weapons humming with plasma charge, towering over the humans who stood frozen in streets and fields, staring at their alien conquerors. The first soldier raised his weapon. He meant to fire. And then his armor screamed. "Middle." The humans were the first to notice it. The once imposing black sheen of the Kryval exo-armor began to bubble. Thin rivulets of smoke trailed upward. What looked like mist rising from dew-soaked metal was, in truth, something far more sinister. "Sir, armor degradation detected," barked a Kryval officer. Ziritha's helm display lit with cascading errors. The Dominion's most advanced suits, tested in methane storms, sulfuric oceans, and the vacuum of neutron star orbits, were corroding. And not from any weapon. Not from enemy fire. From the air itself. Tiny molecules of oxygen and water vapor were infiltrating microscopic weaknesses in the nanometal lattice, triggering a cascading chain reaction. Instead of resisting, the alloy oxidized violently, breaking down in minutes. The Dominion's proudest armor was dissolving as though Earth's atmosphere had been waiting millennia to devour it. Soldiers panicked. They ripped off dissolving plates, exposing themselves to the strange, harsh air. But the oxygen they dismissed as harmless was highly toxic to their physiology, burning their lungs and searing through their bloodstream. Warriors who had toppled empires collapsed in the dirt of suburban streets, choking. For the first time in Dominion history, their soldiers screamed, not from battle wounds, but from the unseen chemistry of a planet they underestimated. Humans, watching from windows and rooftops, didn't understand the full science. But they understood one thing. The invincible enemy was dying in their streets without a single shot fired. Elias Vance, a firefighter in Chicago, stared as one Kryval soldier clawed at his throat, armor falling away in flakes. Elias grabbed a radio. "Command, I don't know how, but they're breaking down. The air itself is killing them." The news spread faster than plasma fire. Around the globe, dropships disgorged soldiers who lasted mere minutes before their war suits degraded. The invasion that was supposed to be swift and surgical devolved into chaos. But the Kryval were nothing if not stubborn. Zirith roared across comms, his fury echoing through every channel. Seal your suits. Deploy oxygen scrubbers. Adapt. His engineers scrambled, deploying emergency countermeasures, ion filters, polymer seals, atmospheric dampeners. For a moment, it seemed they might stabilize. And then the rain began. A storm swept across the Midwest, droplets splattering on the Kryval suits. Water, the simplest compound in the cosmos, seeped into already compromised plating. The exo-armor hissed as if doused in acid. Soldiers howled as their protection sloughed away, leaving them bare against a world hostile to their very existence. Humans, emboldened, struck back. Not with advanced weapons, but with the simplest tools. Rifles, Molotov cocktails, even stones. Against unarmored invaders gasping for air, it was enough. The Dominion fleet, watching from orbit, stared in horror. The proud Kryval ground forces, thousands of elite soldiers, were falling to farmers, police officers, and children with slingshots. And all because they had underestimated Earth's air. Ending. Admiral Zirith faced a decision that no Kryval commander had ever faced before. Retreat. His officers pleaded. Admiral, our suits cannot withstand this environment. Even with reinforcements, we will lose everything. He slammed a clawed fist against the console. We do not retreat from primitives. But even as he spoke, the Tyrannies registered micro-corrosion along its hull plating. The fleet itself was at risk. Earth's atmosphere wasn't just lethal to soldiers. It threatened their ships. Zirith realized the truth with bitter clarity. Earth was a death world. Not because of its people, not because of its weapons, but because the very chemistry of the planet was inimical to Dominion technology and biology alike. The humans had evolved in this crucible, thriving in an environment saturated with reactive oxygen, corrosive salts, and unpredictable weather. What the Dominion thought was harmless had been shaping humanity for millions of years, forging resilience in every breath. Defeat was undeniable. The Kryval fleet withdrew, limping into the void, leaving behind rusting shells of armor and smoldering wrecks of their once mighty soldiers. On Earth, humanity celebrated, not just survival, but a strange, almost divine revelation. They had been spared not by superweapons or alliances, but by the invisible shield of their own atmosphere. Elias Vance stood on a rooftop as the last alien vessel vanished into the night sky. Beside him, a young girl whispered, "They won't come back, will they?" He shook his head slowly. "Not here. Not to Earth. This world isn't theirs to take." In the Dominion's annals, Earth was recorded not as a conquered world, but as a forbidden one, a place where armor turned to dust, lungs turned to fire, and proud warriors were humbled by air and rain. To the Kryval, it was known thereafter as the planet of rust and fire. To humans, it was something simpler. Home.